What is up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here. It's Friday. We're getting ready for Friday Night SmackDown tonight. There's a lot of things going on in the wrestling world. Triple H is bringing people back left and right. Shawn Michaels is coming out and saying that he ain't taking the blame. We may get Sasha Banks and Naomi tonight. We may get the return of the Fiend. I don't know, people. There's a lot of things going on. Next week, we got NXT Heatwave. We got Monday Night Raw. There's just so much things. But on today's episode of Tino's Time Wrestling, me and my man Warren of Buzzin' with Warren podcast, we are going to be talking about everything that is going to be going down on Tuesday night on the USA Network with NXT Heatwave. We got 5 matches. We have a winner who is going to leave NXT. Or is Tony D'Angelo going to get out of, Santos Escobar going to get out of the Tony D'Angelo family? Can Zoe Starks become the new NXT Women's Champion and defeat Mandy Rose? Could we see Carmelo Hayes be called up to the main roster and losing to Giovanni Vinci on Tuesday night? And is Giovanni Vinci going to become the NXT North American Champion? I have no idea, people, but there's a lot of things going on in the wrestling world. So let's not waste any more time and let me get my guest in here. He is Captain America of the IWC. He is the talk and he is the host of Buzzin' with Marlo podcast. It is my man, Warren. What's up, Warren? How are you doing?
What up?
My man?
Hey, Tino, I appreciate it, man. Good job.
Welcome to
I
Tino's
like how you
Time
got that
Wrestling.
podcast name right. I like that. I mean,
Did I?
Buzzing with
Did I?
Warren. That just
Okay, I did. Okay, Marlo. My bad. Buzzing with Marlo. My bad. I'm way off on that.
how's
Sorry.
it going, man?
I'm
Oh, you good. You good. Also,
my
guys, I am the Captain America of wrestling.
Captain
If you
America.
don't know my character, man, I was
Tell
a
them. You
Power
tell them
Ranger,
before we start.
Spider-Man, John Cena, and AJ Styles all in one, and that's what you made AP. So there
Man.
you go.
Welcome to Tino's Time, man. I appreciate you coming and
Hey,
hanging out
pleasure.
today. So, on today's episode, like I said, we're going to talk about NXT Heatwave. But there's a lot of other things going on in the wrestling world, man. Since Vince McMahon retired, the best day in WWE professional wrestling, maybe. Triple H taking control of the head of talent relations and the control of creative. John Laurinaitis, people power, being kicked out of the house. Thank God. I want to know how Kathy and the Bellas feel about that. That's just me. I'm kind of interested. But first week of Triple H being in charge, man, he brought a lot of people back. Starting with SummerSlam, we saw Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Io Shirai. We saw Bayley return. Then on Monday, we saw Monday Night Ciampa, and we thought Ciampa. I thought Ciampa, once he won the triple threat matches, everything, I thought he was gonna beat and win versus Bobby Lashley. But I still think he put up a great fight. Like, I don't know how you feel about that match, but I think
Oh yeah.
Ciampa still put up a good fight. And even though he lost versus Bobby, I think he still did great.
I
And
mean, you can't get mad about that because I mean, Bobby is probably the big draw right now,
he is.
and
And I mean,
people
I
got to
love the
realize that,
entrance.
man. Bobby has stepped his game
Yes, he
up.
has. It's crazy. And people, I think people forget how long he's actually been with like
Yep.
WWE, and he left and then he came back and
Literally,
everything
after he
like
got
that.
out of the military, he became a professional wrestler. And I mean, just look at this man. It's crazy to watch this guy. Like literally, he's got this old school bodybuilding wrestling mentality, but he's got a great mind when it comes to selling, the psychology. He's definitely getting better on those things. Like the mic work, it's a hit or miss, but he honestly, I don't really think he needs mic skills because his actions should be done in the ring. Like a guy like his size, like Brock Lesnar, which Brock Lesnar has been insane. And Brock could actually do good promos. And if he wants to. But I'm sitting there looking at Bobby Lashley, I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad that he's not good on promos, but he delivers in every other possibility that you get out of it. Charisma, selling, I mean, he's gotten way better on his selling. Like his selling used to really get him in trouble back then, and that's probably one reason why he did have to get released from WWE to go and get himself more known out there. So that's what a lot of people don't realize too is Bobby's been wrestling, MMA, all this stuff. Like he's got way more hats than what we know. So I mean, I was glad about the match between him and Ciampa. Ciampa looked strong, even if he didn't win. Like Ciampa looked like how he did in NXT, and I loved it
Well,
because
yeah,
that
and that's
showcased him. That's
and,
what you need to do. You just showcase your talent.
well. Speaking of NXT, man, I think the best thing happened on Friday night then because we saw the return of Scarlett and Killian Cross and Killer Cross return to WWE. And last time we saw Killian or Killer Cross in WWE, he was wearing a mask and he was wearing a hula or whatever the hell Vince McMahon put on him. I don't know what the hell it was. And
I don't
I'm
know.
so happy.
I think he told him to go to Adam and Eve and buy him a costume.
Pretty much. I don't know what the hell that was, but I was so happy to see him live, like on WWE, because they said it and we could hear rumors all we want, but until it actually happens, I feel like that was the one thing I was waiting for to know and
Mm-hmm.
feel like it was Triple H in charge. Because people have been
Oh yeah.
saying that Vince is in charge and Vince is in the back and Vince is this and that. And it very might well be true because he is still a shareholder and everything. But I feel like that moment right there, if Vince was in charge, there's no way in hell Killian Cross would have came back. And he came back the way he should have in the first place with Scarlett at his corner, with the TikTok, with the lights out, with the theme, with everything. That's how he should have came in
Mm-hmm.
the first place. And it's like that moment was like, damn, okay, like Triple H is really now in control because I
I
just don't think it
mean,
would have happened if
Scarlett couldn't be on her own,
no,
and that's
no,
what I think.
and
That's
there's
what they were
nothing wrong
trying
with
to do
that.
it too.
Yeah.
But Scarlett just refused to actually do that. Like she wanted to be there with her husband.
Well,
And
yeah,
I understand that too, but
and there's nothing wrong with that. Look at Charmella. She barely wrestled her. I don't even know if she ever did. But we
Charmella
were
was very smart when it came to managing and stuff like people don't realize the reason why she got inducted to the Hall of Fame is because she made that King Booker
oh, beautiful,
persona
amazing.
work.
Everything
Because
about it worked.
every person needs that one dance partner. Not
Yes.
always needs to be the wrestler. It
No.
can be everything around. Look at Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman makes everything look freaking like gold when he touches it now.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been one wrestler that he's managed that it looks like absolute crap. And since the ECW 2.0 rerun. So like literally it's just you got to know what fits and what works. And I think with the Killer Cross thing, Scarlett was a big missing out of it, but there was not a really good jump start there.
No.
But it also wasn't good for the fans just to react the way they did. But it's their product. This is something that we watch. This is something that the fans need to look at and watch. So when Vince did that, we knew it was going to be bad. We knew it was going to be bad. Like the first match when he did against Jeff Hardy, and people were upset that Jeff beat him. I'm sitting there, I'm like, why are y'all mad about Jeff Hardy beating somebody?
I mean, you shouldn't be
Like
surprised because
that's like
Vince loves Jeff.
literally that's a veteran. And then you giving all this negative remarks and all this other stuff, and then you redo the match, and then he beats Jeff, and then you get mad that Jeff lost. And I'm just like, can't win.
Ridiculous.
Can't
No,
win.
you can't. And that's the thing where it's just like Triple H built this great thing in NXT Black and Gold where it was just like that's what wrestling should have been. It shouldn't. Yes, we should get a little bit of the sports entertainment and everything like that, but it needed to be about wrestling. And I feel
But
like
that's
Triple H
also
just
why they crumbled on the main roster. A lot of the big draws in NXT crumbled on the main roster because they lost the credibility of being a character.
yeah.
I
And
can name so many.
I mean, we're gonna talk
So
about one.
many.
We're gonna talk about one in a little bit that's apparently returning tonight on SmackDown. We were talking about a little bit earlier that you said that he may not have never been fired. So, once we talk about the last return that we saw on Monday, then maybe we'll get into that. But yeah, I mean, the character, it's all about falling in love with the character. And I was listening to the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy earlier today when I was at work. John Alba and Matt Hardy, love it. Go check it out on YouTube Friday. I'll give my man Matt Hardy a shout out. Met him one time, that was a good time. But anyway, they were talking about it, and like they were talking about even like them just bringing back like the banned words and like medical facility and hospital and stuff like that, where it just like it feels real.
It's transition. It's
like
transcending.
like no person in reality is going to go and say, hey, Warren, I'm going to a medical facility. No, I'm going to a hospital. I broke my arm. I got to go to the hospital. And I just feel like that's like a lot of the things, like with Killer Cross coming back with this NXT character. We saw the return of, I don't know how you felt about this on Monday, but I didn't even think about this or realize it with the car accident. I low-key thought Nikki ASH and Doudrop got into a car accident, and I was like, I hope they're okay. And then I started seeing it more and more. And then we saw at the end of Monday Night Raw, we saw the return of Dexter Lumis. And Dexter Lumis came back, and he came back as Dexter Lumis. There was no messed up name. There was no Dexter. There was no Lumis. There was no, I was waiting for it. I was waiting for Corey Graves to say something. But once he said it, because he also mumbled it. I don't know if you heard that too. He was like, is that Dexter Lumis? And I was like, oh my God.
That is one good that's where you know you got a good announcer. Because he can make you invest into something. And it draws your attention to it because guess what? The announcers are what people don't realize. The announcers have the hardest job in wrestling. One reason why is because you have to sell the product on a national-wide TV every single week. Play by play, figure out what entertains the audience, play by play. Now it's not just reading all off of a teleprompter. Now it's a little bit more freely. That's the things that I used to be that guy in wrestling. Like, hey man, there's a lot of things you don't need to change in wrestling. Main things I say you don't need to change in wrestling is character-based wrestling, because that is what we all saw wrestling as. Like, I always give an example. Watching wrestling is like giving me the mindset of what a live visual of Marvel would look like.
Marvel
in front of you personally. Like, WWE is the Avengers to me. And literally,
Triple H is trying to build his Infinity Stones. He got Dakota.
I'm telling you, man. Killer, Triple H has got that Thanos ordeal going on, man. Like,
I mean, he's building.
Actually, I don't know. I would say Triple H is probably Doctor Strange now. Like, he's trying to rebuild what got destroyed. But here's the craziest thing: a lot of people don't realize, and I know I've gotten off topic though, is Corey Graves. Nobody gives this man a lot of props. Like, this man,
we have to give Corey Graves his flowers.
That match with Pat McAfee was so good just because of what Michael Cole and Corey Graves were bantering back and forth.
Facts.
That was made that match. But here's the thing: a lot of people don't realize you don't hear the announcers at live events, which it kind of throws the show off because you're so used to listening to the announcers. So when you hear that the announcers come down the stage, like I remember when I went to my first WWE show. And they were introducing JBL. They were introducing Michael Cole. They were introducing, I think, Taz for a little bit, too. I think it was Taz. And they had a special ring announcer. Who was it? I think it was Howard Finkel. I think it was Howard Finkel. And he was in and out for a little bit. But you don't hear him. So I was just sitting there, I'm like, why are we praising them or whatever? But when you watch it back on that TV, because you remember those were all pre-recorded at the time. SmackDown used to be always pre-recorded.
Yeah,
people don't realize that.
Yeah,
so SmackDown would be recorded right on Tuesday. I think the SmackDowns would be recorded on Tuesdays. They would air them on Thursdays or Fridays.
Yeah, man, I love that. I love Thursday night SmackDown.
But when you see the announcing, that's what makes you love wrestling. I don't care what people say. Like, it is literally telling you a story based off of reaction, how you can look at it. Like, these things, it's a hit or a miss nowadays.
Well, and that's the thing. Even like they've even said it, like with the announcers are freer. Like, you tell me Pat McAfee was able to kick a football in the crowd like a month ago, you would have been out of your mind.
I don't know. I think Vince would have let him. Vince would let Pat do anything.
I mean, maybe, but it's just like stuff like that. It seems like they're using wrestler. They're using like words that like they're, you know what I mean? Like it's just like they're more freer. They're able
Well,
to like
Vince
tell the
Vince
story a lot
saw this
more.
as like, and I mean, a lot of people get on me about, you praise WWE all the time. No, but y'all gotta realize, man, Vince is literally Disney. It didn't
Yeah,
matter if he needed to change it or whatever. He's
people will
still
still
gonna be on
tune
the
in.
top of the mountain.
I mean,
You're
yeah,
still
we
on
were
the top
talking
of the
about that
mountain.
off camera. We were talking about that off camera. How many people really don't watch NXT and AEW, but they Raw and SmackDown, you're killing it because everybody watches it somehow, some
And the
way.
funniest thing is they get the most viewerships, but they get the most critique out of it.
Yes,
And it doesn't
but
affect
that's because,
Vince. Vince
and
looks
that's
at it and goes,
because
ha ha ha, I did it again. Like
it's
that's what
good
people don't
shit.
realize.
Good shit. He loves the good shit, you know. It's ridiculous. Like it's just like it's crazy to like it. Just, man, it just drives me nuts because it just I don't know. But we got better days ahead with Triple H in charge, so hopefully.
I mean, it's a
Vince
good
is
thing. I think it's good now because it's not just the fact that, okay, this is a multi-million-dollar company, this is this, whatever. Now we're showing it as, okay, this is back to a wrestling company.
yes.
Now,
He's
this
literally
could be a
bringing
major
wrestling.
loss in the long run too, though, because
It could.
now wrestlers think, oh, now we can do the stuff that we done on independent stuff. And that's what people have got to get
Yeah.
that mindset still. You like, we're still WWE.
Well,
We
yeah.
still got to entertain the audience. People
Yeah.
don't realize gimmick-based wrestling is so much more over than regular wrestling.
I know, and it's so
Period.
sad because it's like the like people that love pro wrestling, like, you know, because I think like
But
a
here's
lot
the
of like
question. Here's the major question that a lot of people don't realize. What is the actual definition of pro wrestling? Pro wrestling is you're supposed to be able to see a move, react to it, and then figure out, okay, what next? Whatever. Okay, so when you have a wrestling match, let's use an example. Everybody knows I don't like their matches mostly. I'm going to go with the Young Bucks. All right. So when you start a match out, 9 times out of 10, what is the match always supposed to start with? Since you've watched wrestling for so long, I'm curious, what would be the first thing that you would want to do? As a headlock, right? You want to do a tie-up.
Yeah.
You want to get a tie-up, get something started up. Okay. Well, first of all, Young Bucks ain't that strong. Young Bucks are not that muscular type look, whatever. So obviously, with them being a heel, do a tie-up, throw off because they can't get them. They're not strong enough to throw off whoever they do, unless they mess with Orange Cassidy, which I'm pretty sure everybody could throw him out of a ring just single-handedly, honestly. But
gotta love
you do a tie-up. All right, you struggle on the first one. Sell it and get the crowd involved into it. You don't go in, all right, clothesline, mid duck, hit, boom, hip up at the same time, backflip, drop kick, super kick, super kick, super kick. All right, drop out of the ring, boom, 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 boom. All right, now we're going to look at the reaction of the crowd.
I completely agree with you.
Opening of the match. I would look at it and go, why?
I mean, yeah, because I mean, it's really not. I mean, that's just. I mean, I completely agree with you.
I refer wrestling as I need it to be like a movie.
Yeah.
You need it to have a beginning, a middle,
and an end.
And an ending. Not ending. Oh, we finally ended. 30 minutes later. Like, you gotta, that's the things that people have got to know, these analogies. And people get mad at me when I talk about wrestling like this, when I say, hey, there's not going to be any more wrestlers that stand out in any of these generations like Rock, Austin, Hogan, Cena, Undertaker, all these guys. That's the last of their kind. And man, did I upset people when I said that. What? I said maybe Orton. They're like, what? Huh? What are you talking about? I'm like, for guys to stand out, if you get an average fan to watch wrestling, they're not going to say the Young Bucks are going to be in the top 10. They're not going to sit here and look at the Lucha Bros and go, oh, yeah, they're the greatest tag team on this planet. No, they're looking at them like, I don't understand what they're doing. They're just doing these flips and doing all this. because now we're in this wrestling genre. It's like watching people on trampolines
Yeah.
being gymnasts. That is really what that type of style is.
I
And
mean, and
people
that was
don't
even like,
see this demographic.
and that was kind of like the people that Vince was kind of bringing in is different type of like different types of like college athletes or Gable
People
Stevenson and
shitted
stuff like
on
that.
that so much, but
Oh
how
my
much
God,
more
it's so
people
funny.
did you watch? So how many more viewers did you watch seeing a guy like Gable Stevens
Exactly.
in a ring compared to watching Book, I miss you, I love you, rest in peace. He's gonna get mad at me. How many more people would watch a match with Gable Stevenson than what they would watch a match with Kenny Omega?
I mean,
Because Kenny Omega, as great as a wrestler he is, I wouldn't put him in my top 10. The reason why? He's not a character.
no. You gotta have somebody that you're gonna remember. You know what I mean? And
He's a
before
New Japan standout.
yeah,
That's why Shinsuke Nakamura got to go to WWE because he was a character.
Yeah. And people like there's so many, like I have one friend that like is like on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and his whole thing is like Shinsuke Nakamura. And every time I see Shinsuke, I think about him, but his character is great and everything about him is just like different. And
Who
it's just
doesn't like Shinsuke Nakamura?
everybody
Shinsuke
loves
Nakamura
Shinsuke.
is like a hardcore Japanese
I get
wrestler,
up and dance like
and
Pat
Michael
McAfee
Jackson
now.
as one.
Hell yeah.
Like you cannot get mad with that. Like
no, you can't.
He's got a psychology of wrestling, and also he's got a character. Like he literally reminds me of. Oh my gosh, what is that one? Oh my goodness, I totally forgot about it. Purple Rain. Wow, I totally forgot about it. Oh, all right, the guy sings Purple Rain, and I'm sorry, I totally forgot. Huh? Prince, yes. I don't know why I forgot his name.
Prince. What's up, Prince?
Rest in peace to Prince. And Michael Jackson mixed in a New Japan wrestler. I mean, that is a great combination.
True.
If he could just get promos down, if he could have just done like a he or something, I guarantee you T-shirts off the shelf.
I completely agree. Hey, we'll see Shinsuke. Maybe he'll win the title versus Gunther tonight on Friday Night SmackDown on Fox tonight. You know, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I want to take a second because I see a few people in the chat. I want to let everybody know to keep chatting and leave your questions and comments.
Oh yeah.
Let me know.
What's up, everybody?
We'll answer them. I do actually have Off the Top podcast in the chat. He's talking about. He's like,
my brother.
He said, my man Warren B in the building. He actually retweeted the podcast and said, my man Buzzing With is on right now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, he calls me his podcast. Midwife.
His Midwest. His midwife. He said, hell no. He said Gunther gonna smack Shinsuke off the top rope. Man, I don't know.
I'm just glad he's actually using that name now because he used to get upset with it.
Oh, I know. Man, but I want to let everybody know in the chat. I do see you guys, so make sure to keep commenting. But we got a little bit off topic, and we'll talk a little bit more about everything. But
let's be a lot of fun.
Let's get into everything that's going to go down to NXT. The NXT Heatwave. There's only 5 matches, so we'll stay on if you want a little bit longer after we go over the matches and answer some questions and go over a few more things. But NXT Heatwave on Tuesday night. We have a lot of matches that are going to go down. We have a rivalry between 2 women that want to rip each other's heads off. We have an NXT Women's Championship match, an NXT Championship match. We got a loser may leave NXT match. So there's just a lot of things that are going to go down. So let's not waste any more time and let's start covering all of the matches that are going to go down. And the first one that I want to talk about is, we talked a little bit about this guy a little bit earlier. It's Carmelo Hayes versus Giovanni Vinci for the North American NXT Championship. I said that way wrong, but anyway, Giovanni Vinci versus Carmelo Hayes. How do you feel about Giovanni Vinci being repackaged as, because he used to be known as Fabian Eichner
different.
and Imperium?
Something different. I mean,
because I get a lot of people that say they like it, and I get a lot of people that wish he was up with Gunther and Ludwig.
Here's a great example. As much hell I'll probably receive, especially from my husband over there, you know, Mr. Shiz over here, off the Top Ropes podcast.
You got commission, bro.
He calls me his midwife for some reason.
Midwife. That's okay.
So my thing is, I don't always get mad about these changes, but now if there's someone like how they did with Killer Cross, yes, that's just
Oh,
totally asinine and don't do it. But
it
it's
gives me
something new, and
anxiety.
he's actually investing into that character. Like he
Yeah,
actually, I like it. It's
I mean,
giving him a personality because he didn't have that in Imperium. He was literally
yeah,
just that straightforward guy. And I remember when he first got into the NXT, I saw him on a couple of TV shows. On the house shows over at Jacksonville in the Armory. He just did not have a personality. He looked the part. He just did not have a personality. This part right here, you could tell he's having fun with it. He's
yeah.
liking the character and stuff. So he's not upset about a change to it. But Carmelo Hayes is literally the best thing that's going on in NXT 2.0. I say I want to see him win this match because I'm just not ready to. As much as we know Triple H is running the shows now and stuff like that, yes, Carmelo's ready, but NXT 2.0 needs more standout, and Carmelo gives that on TV. Like he gives the representation. He's got the championship title. He portrays himself as a good champion. Um, I I want to see him stay on NXT 2.0 just to keep elevating that group up a little bit more. Obviously, if they want to jump him, jump him. But
I think that they should wait till the draft because I'm assuming
just wait till
everybody's
a
been
pay per
talking.
view. Wait till a big pay per
I
view
mean,
like Survivor Series.
why don't we
Make
have
that
those
be like a
anymore?
guest appointment.
What happened to those things? Like, what happened to like when the Shield came out and beat the shit out of Ryback and John
You want to
Cena?
know what came
And
out? You want to know what came out?
what
Called
came out?
internet. Internet.
Joe,
Internet killed
bro,
everything when it came to
internet.
wrestling.
You're absolutely right because I think about it now, and it's like even me and my friend were talking about this about like Kane and Undertaker being brothers. Like for a long time, I thought they were brothers. I thought that they were like, I thought they were living in the same house. I didn't know any better. That's what I was told. But then once the internet
Exactly.
came out, I was like, damn, okay, they're not. And then I started looking on Wikipedia, and then I
See,
started like,
that's another reason why these A&E shows and all these like documentaries like our old wrestlers and stuff, we're so shocked about who this person was outside this character because they portrayed it so
yeah.
much.
So
Like
Undertaker
back
is
then
a prime
wrestling would not
example.
have been on social media.
No,
Back then wrestling literally was it was a realism thing. Like I
realism.
me being an independent wrestler in the 80s, that was the coolest thing coming from being an indie guy. Because guess what? We looked like we were all on WWE. We looked like we were all on WCW. We looked like we are all on the NWA. Like you were networking all over the place because you didn't have the internet. So you had to physically drive there, do all your promotions from that promotion. So it kind of had that name persona on you. That's why Ric Flair did as long as he did. If there was internet
Oh God.
back then for Ric Flair wouldn't even been able to wrestle as long as he did
Do you want
because he
we
would
could do a
gotten
whole
too many
podcast
damn
on Rick.
troubles. I mean, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, he wouldn't have wrestled as long because he get in trouble too damn much. Like y'all don't like these things are some things that drives me nuts, and I love being in wrestling groups when they go, "Hey man, do you think they're gonna put him over?" I was like, "It depends if he loses the match. It
I
depends.
mean,
His shoulders are spin 1, 2, 3. That's how I watch the matches. I'm gonna watch it still like how that is because you get a different perspective to watching matches when you look at it and go, "Oh, you know what? He got pinned that. Okay."
yeah.
I hate hearing, "Oh, he got put over." So I'm just sitting there like, bro, have you ever been in a match to be using these references? Like those things drive guys that do these things like crazy because it's like we get it, y'all are fans, y'all invested, this is cool, but you also got to know like should y'all be should anybody be critiquing like, oh man, he his cardio wasn't up there. I'm like, have you been in the ring and
Oh,
run these ropes?
well, I
Like
don't even want
I
to
came
manage,
back
bro.
my first month, I've never been blown up in wrestling, and I will say that proudly. When I first came back in that ring, I I was doing good, started running the ropes, started doing the up and unders, and then I got a little more edgy. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna start doing the under the bridge, flap up and then flop back. I did that twice and I was completely out of breath because I just
Oh,
haven't been used to it for so
yeah.
long. And
I
then
give
they're
them
like, hey
all the
man,
credit in the world.
you wanna do a moth match? And I'm like, oh Lord. Like I was so gassed
But
just
I
because
can't
I did so
imagine.
much extra stuff and then had to do the match. and we had to finish it real early because I was trying to go a little bit longer just to kind of get myself in that psychology right. But I was so gassed, I was just like,
Well, yeah.
pin me,
It's
pin
it's
me.
just
I
like
can't move.
I give all the respect in the world to all these people. Like it's crazy. So who are you taking in the North American Championship match? So you taking Carmelo?
I want to take Carmelo, but I think it is going to be time for him to move up. But I want him. I want him to be like a special guy in Survivor Series or something. So
That would
that's
be
what I
great.
kind of want. That's what I think that would be a great way to come in.
Yeah. I mean that would be different too. I mean, I would love to see it. Like have him come in and be the leader of a team. And that's the thing I really hope that they do is they go back to the 5-on-5. Like if you're not gonna do like I've always talked about in all my shows, if you're not gonna do these gimmick pay-per-views and have all the matches Hell in the Cell, all the matches TLC, or have at least 2 or 3 of them, don't have the
Running
pay-per-view.
like an indie show.
Yeah,
You know why indie shows literally do all cage matches, right?
you
Because
tell.
it is a mug to actually put up and
Oh,
down a
I'm
cage.
sure. Oh, I'm sure. And that's the thing. But it's just like so many of these gimmick pay-per-views, they have one match or a match, maybe two, and it's just like I just don't understand it. So
I
I, you
mean,
know, but
it's
so I really
not
hope with the
necessarily
Survivor
that
Series.
bad either because, but here's the thing, like you got to let these cage matches stand out compared to what your average
Oh no,
ones
I
were.
know,
That's
I know,
why
and
Hell in a Cell matches have not looked the way they are because they've been
I
so
know.
watered
Oh,
down. Because you
that
want
red cage
longevity
gives
in
me
that.
anxiety.
How many times do you think someone's going to agree? Like, yeah, throw me off of that into
I
that
mean, you're
table. We
right.
can do this like
No,
Mick
I'm
Foley
in.
style.
I mean, I could. No, I mean,
Maybe
I
Dean if he was still there.
Dean.
I
Oh,
mean, Shane would do it with
I
no
miss
problem.
John. I miss John. I miss John. That was another thing I saw. They said they ain't ever coming back. Sadly, I think that they should be in the Hall of Fame one day, though, as a faction. Just saying. Just so, but
Shield
yeah,
wise, yes, nothing else.
yeah. But I'm gonna take Carmelo Hayes too to win. I like Giovanni Vinci. I really like this, like the stop pictures where he
Give
takes
him
the
more
picture
time.
and it stops and everything. So, and that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, I just think that you don't want to rush and bring everybody up because then it's going to turn into everybody's going to expect a return or something
It's
every
going to
night.
look like a
And
AEW
yes,
built up
oh my
show.
god, man, I like AEW. Don't get me wrong, but I cannot deal with every week. This guy, it's the AEW starter pack. You get released from WWE. You take 6 weeks off. You go on the Chris
You said
Jericho
it, not me.
talk on podcast. Talk at Jericho. You debut on AEW. You win a championship, and then you fade into the disappearedness for a minute, and then you come back.
If you're a WWE guy, you go headline Dark and
Yeah,
Elevation the rest of your career.
I mean, true. I mean, there's just so many. I don't know, but there's a lot of rivalries going on and everything. But with the next match we're going to talk about, this rivalry between Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez has been, they won the NXT championships, tag team championships, and a week later, Cora Jade turned on Roxanne. And I felt like that they should have built it up a little bit, had them be champions for a little bit, and then I don't know. I just feel, and then I don't know what you thought about the skateboard being
This is
flipped in the
this is
air
how
and
you could
breaking
tell
in
this was
half.
Shawn Michaels' plan because he built this up, and I loved how he actually came out and said this one now. Because when I watched this segment, I was like, this looks more like a Shawn Michaels type build because I got the Rockers experience out of this because literally Cora was Shawn, and obviously Roxanne is Marty Jannetty.
I didn't even think
Um,
about that. Now that you say that, it kind of does. Yeah.
so like how you just said, I wish they built it up more. Why not do that when they were champs? Now, do I think they should have done it knowing that they won the titles? And that
That's
was
the
kind
only
of weird
that's
because you
that's
just
and
finally
that's
got
the
your
biggest
gold.
thing. And that's the biggest thing.
Because
I
it
just
kind
feel
of just
like with
made
the
the
tag
women's
titles.
title not mean anything.
Exactly. And
So
the tag
that
titles in both women's divisions don't mean anything. Let's be real here. We're having a tournament, but I really hope the only way this
I
tournament
mean,
I hope the only
there's
way
more
that tournament
federations than that.
I just hope that the tournament turns out with Sasha and Naomi returning eventually, but we'll see how that goes. And that's I don't know, man.
But the
But
thing with Cora, I think this gave her something new too. Because I literally call Cora like the new AJ, the AJ Lee,
yeah. Oh
because
no,
she just
I
gives me that look. It's
yeah.
like AJ Lee and Lita in one. And
I
I
can
mean,
see
it's
it.
like that punk rock thing. Like
Yeah,
she's portraying this thing really well. Actually, you know, I wouldn't even say Lita. I would say Paige. Paige,
yeah.
because she's actually getting pretty damn good in the ring as well.
Well,
Like
and that's
psychology
the thing.
wise,
And she's better as a heel. And we kind of talked about it off camera.
exactly.
We
She
kind of
looks
talked
more like
about.
a heel.
We talked
She
to
doesn't look like that big baby face anymore.
no.
Like people, like when she started doing those little Home Alone type segments and stuff, I was just like, you know, hey, she's showing credibility. She's showing that she really is trying to invest in these stories.
Well,
And that's
exactly.
one thing a lot of people, and I think we talked about this when we were off camera, is a lot of people just don't invest themselves into trying to make these look good. If
Yeah.
it's literally a shit object, they're not going to try to change that and make it look presentable to be on national TV. Like if they gave me let's say like what crappy segment was it? If they gave me something like I'm a big fan of Cameron Grimes. The way
Oh, I
they
love
started
Cameron
him
Grimes.
out at when
I
they
love
first
that.
started him out, nobody really cared for Cameron Grimes.
No.
But if they gave me a gimmick like how Cameron Grimes got at first, that's a crap gimmick. That's a crap gimmick. But is it really a crap gimmick if you invest yourself into it
I mean,
and
and
you
look at what
put
he's
your
turned
all
it
into it?
into.
You're getting paid to be on TV regardless. I don't care if it's telling you to walk around
Facts.
trying to be a walk-in toilet paper. I'm going to be the best toilet paper they've got on there. Charmin better be giving me a sponsorship after this. Like, those are the things people don't realize. Like, you got to invest yourself into that character. And the moves are great, but character is so much better, and the longevity you will appreciate.
Well, yeah, and
That's
the
why it's so
payoff.
much easier to follow.
Yeah, and the
And I
payoff is what we all
love what
want.
Cora Jade is doing right now.
Yes.
Roxanne Perez is literally the NXT standout. Out
Yeah.
of all of the newer signees and the newer ranking ones, Roxanne Perez is the one that's going to make something when she gets off that roster.
I think her and
Period.
Tiffany Stratton are the two that will be the most like. I think both of them are like very like talented, and I think Nikita Lyons, whatever you want to call her, I think she'll be successful, obviously because she is good in the ring and everything. But of course, everybody looks at her because she does her move and whatever, and guys want to gawk over anything that will touch them or look at them, and maybe I'll go take a picture with Sasha Banks and Naomi real quick. Hold on. Let me go real quick.
Pay
A sec.
$150 for like
Fucking
a
ridiculous.
12.
But
How far was it away? They had to pay for that.
it
They had
was
to
like
stand
it
how
was
far
like
away?
it was like this. It was awful, bro. I saw some of the guys and I was just like, oh
Especially
my
when
god,
Triple
that
H
sucks.
is like right next to you with a thumbs up, and they're
Right?
like
Like,
this.
come on. Like, and we know, like, I get it, and the girls and everything, and the guys are like
But
turds and
that's
everything.
also investing
But
into the storyline because I'm gonna be real with everybody and I'm gonna break the fifth wall. I don't really
let's
think
hear
that they really just I don't really think they got fired. I don't really think that they just left.
this. I
Now,
mean,
the
maybe.
only way I could see if this story was maybe even compelled a little bit, Sasha was pissed that she wasn't in the main roster. I mean, the main thing for a title.
Yeah.
Like they told her, hey, go into the being this tag team picture, do what you need to do out of this. Involve Naomi, get her back up to that credibility standpoint. Like they had two great personalities to this thing,
Yeah.
and they did good. I actually liked it because it gave Naomi something.
Yeah.
Naomi's a hell of an athlete.
Oh, and I think she should
Hell of
join
an
the
athlete.
bloodline eventually. I think maybe at some point if they're not gonna. I don't know. They need to do something. I just really
I
hope that they
just
bring
don't
them back
think it
to do
will
something.
fit for her right now.
No,
Like
I mean,
honestly,
yeah.
when you look at Naomi, Naomi's not a bad person.
No, she's not.
When I say a bad person, I mean she just doesn't have
She
that look
can't.
that fans are
Yeah, she
gonna
can't.
hate.
Yeah, no, she don't. Like, there's like
She's
some
that
people like I
smiley
hate, like
face
Charlotte. I hate
girl.
Charlotte. Yeah, she's like Raquel
Charlotte's a true
Rodriguez,
heel.
like Raquel Rodriguez that smile all day. She gives a guy. Yeah.
See, she did good on NXT.
No,
I
oh
liked
my,
her as
I
that
want to see
character on
her. I
NXT.
want to see her and Rhea Ripley do something on the main roster eventually because I think that would be awesome. So
Oh,
who
they're
are you?
best of friends, so I'm sure they're gonna do, especially if they're doing all these social media things.
Oh, I know. So who are? Yeah, I know they were playing Top Golf or something last night. Lucky them. I want to go play some Top Golf.
Hey man,
So who you
gotta
taking?
entertain yourself.
So who do you got in this rivalry between
I'm a
Cora
big
Jade and
Roxanne
Roxanne
Perez
Perez?
fan, but I
And do you
like
think this
Cora.
ends it? Do you think that we see it continue? Or do you
All
like
right,
is this
so
just the beginning?
if Cora wins it, I see this feud kind of like how Dakota Kai and what was her name? Tegan. I really was a big fan of Tegan Knox. I see it kind of like a series like that. I want to see more of those. I want
I
to
would
see
love to
more
see
matches with this because, like how
Tegan
you just
Knox
said,
is
they didn't
another
really
one.
tell a story with it. I want to see this kind of like being a series for a while. Like
Yeah,
give it to where Cora wins the first one by like a cheating persona or whatever, and then Roxanne keeps going. Like she has to beat her to elevate herself up. Like make that more invested. That gets the fans to get more behind it. Um, Roxanne is going to be a golden star regardless. So if Roxanne wins it, I think the feud probably will be over unless if Cora gets in there and kind of like causes her a title, which that makes it even cooler.
I mean, yeah.
So
I think that
I'm
they're
gonna
gonna.
go
I
with
think it's
Cora
gonna
this
be a
one.
great match. I think it's gonna be a great match either way. Like I think both women are great. Like we talked about with like Cora. I think she's just better as a heel than a babyface. She really is. And I love that she's
She's
bringing out
just
like that stick or whatever the hell she's got now instead of the skateboard. And it's just like you know what I mean. Like I don't know. I'm gonna take Roxanne though too, dude. Or I'm gonna take Roxanne to win this match.
I mean, Roxanne's been untouchable since she's gotten over there.
That's. I mean,
Except that moment
I
with the title, I
I
think
still
that's the only
cannot
way
believe
they could
how
have
young
done
these
that.
girls are. I like some
Yeah,
like Nikita's younger than I
Cora's
am.
only like I say 21 or 22.
Ridiculous, man. Like these girls were like young, like they were like a freshman in high school, and I was graduating high school. Like it's ridiculous. What I'm doing something wrong. I'm sitting here recorded, and they're on NXT. Bullshit. But yeah, I'm taking Roxanne Perez to win this match, and well, I guess we'll see how it goes down on Tuesday. Make sure to go and
Yep.
come and hang out with your boy Tino. I'll be live all night for NXT 2.0 Monday night, Dynamite, SmackDown. We got a lot coming up, but I will make sure to let everybody know what you got going on too. I'm gonna make sure to put your link tree and everything in the description too, so everybody can make sure to go follow you and subscribe to all your channels and all your social
Hey,
medias. Got you.
always, man. I always appreciate it. Like I
Always.
said, man, everybody needs to just light up everybody,
Yeah,
not just
you gotta
hey.
help. You can't get out. You can't get there with on your own. You gotta help each other out and be there. And like somebody tags me in something, I'll
Mm-hmm.
help you. Share it. I share. There's stuff people will send me, and I don't talk to them too much, but I'll share it for them. I appreciate it because I know if I send it to them, then they'll share mine. Like, gotta help
Yep.
each other out. So let's continue to talk about the girls or the women, and let's talk
All right,
about.
keep going, keep going, keep going. I just
Okay.
turned the camera off real quick.
Oh, okay. I was like, where'd you go? I was like, we lost him. So the next match that we're going to talk about is the NXT Championship match, the NXT Women's Championship match between Zoe Stark and Mandy Rose. Zoe Stark, she tore her ACL, wasn't it? I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
tore her ACL and she was out for a year. She comes back, she wins the match, and she gets the opportunity to go face Mandy Rose. And now also her and Nikita Lyons are in the tournament for the tag team champions. Could we see Zoe Stark's two belts? Two belts Zoe? I don't think so. But I mean, I honestly I don't think that there's a way Mandy Rose loses this match. But I feel like that she may, because maybe they want to put this belt on Zoe Starks and then bring up Toxic Attraction to the main roster. And maybe,
There
I
you
don't
go.
know, because, why isn't Toxic Attraction in the championship bracket if they were the NXT champions? So why weren't they in the bracket? I think that they should have been in it. Maybe somebody will get hurt. Maybe, so, you know what I mean? They've done it before
Uh-huh.
and somebody
I
will do this and
mean,
that. But that's
cause
the
of
only way.
controversy. I think
That's the only
that's how you
way.
really watch this stuff, though. I
Yeah.
think that'd be a good thing. But here's another thing too with Toxin Attraction, and and a lot of people don't realize that's why Mandy looks so good because of that group. Like
Yeah.
she's got like that mafia persona. Like she literally just picks up the little scrapes from the hench people, the hench women. I
The
don't want
hench
people getting
women.
on to me.
The
Yeah, you
hench
know the
women.
hench women.
The
But literally, I a lot of people get mad at me when I say it, but I love the persona that Mandy's given. Now, is
yeah.
her in ring work the best? No, but
No.
she has literally proven that she can repackage herself.
Perfect.
Like,
She's the perfect example of somebody that was repackaged perfectly. I mean, people forget. I feel like a lot of people do really forget that maybe just started watching NXT 2.0, but she was on what was it? Was it
She was
Tough
on the
Enough?
main roster for a
She,
long
yeah, well,
time.
she was.
Well,
She
yeah, the
started off.
Tough Enough. Yeah,
She
yeah, yeah,
started
yeah.
on Tough Enough, and then she went to the main roster. She was in the faction. She had the little rivalry with Sonya. She was in a random tag team with Dana, and then she goes to NXT. She dyes her hair. She turns into the sex goddess that everybody wants
Exactly.
to have sex.
She
That just like
invested into
yes,
a new persona. And
and
that's one thing that people fail on when you get this chance to get that repackaged memoir and go, hey, prove me that you want this. Prove to me that you can change your audience from, let's do an example. Say like from Festus. Actually, no, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre
the
from
chosen one.
3MB, from 3MB to the Scottish Warrior that we got now.
Facts.
You would have laughed at somebody.
Man,
Like
seriously,
a
people,
heavyweight champion, he would beat Goldberg. He would beat Brock Lesnar.
please,
Nah,
nah,
not even happening.
not that guy in 2009 that
That
came
is
out with
where
the
you
suit.
can see
Nah.
something about repackaging yourself and standing out.
And that's like,
Mandy done that.
yeah, and we talked
Mandy's
about it a little.
promos are better than her matches. I
Yeah.
won't even lie.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna say I'm gonna put Mandy Rose's matches in the top 10 or 15 or anything like that.
No.
But they make you watch her. They
Yeah.
make you sit there and watch these matches,
Yeah, and then
regardless of the moves or anything.
Yeah, and even the entrance that they do, where they don't get all close up to anybody else like that. Like you don't see them getting all close up to like Cameron Grimes like that and getting his chest and stuff. You know what I mean? They just like they put like into
He's
it.
actually getting some muscles on him. Thank God.
Man,
Finally.
I love Cameron Grimes. Take it to the moon and back, baby. I ordered his action figure from Ringside Exclusive, and it doesn't come out till September. I'm so mad, but
Is it the facial expression, the way he has that little goofy laugh?
It's got the.
You have to get it like that, or it's not that.
It's got the facial expression. It comes with the $1 million title. It comes with interchangeable hands, and then it comes with interchangeable hands that has money. So you could like literally like put it so he looks like he has all the money out, and I'm like a 10-year-old kid.
I love it. I love how that they invested into that story to
yeah.
actually make that title matter. But
yeah,
the thing about Mandy and Zoe, I say Zoe's gonna win because Zoe has been built up for a long time, and like how we just said, Nikita and Zoe are supposed to be in this tag team tournament. I think something's gonna make that happen to where they don't. And Toxic Attraction takes that spot, that would be good. Or Sasha and Naomi are going to take their spot.
Maybe. I want to see it happen. I think they either take somebody's spot.
It's probably going to be a pay-per-view when if Sasha and Naomi come back, it's going to be in a pay-per-view. It's not going to be on a Raw or SmackDown.
It has to. Like, I feel like they're gonna treat it like a Cody Rhodes, not as big as the Cody Rhodes return, but kind of where it's like they're, you know what I mean? Where it's like they're gonna.
Where it was just bloopers all week. The best one I have to say, we did a show before WrestleMania, and we did like a shout out to my boy Dre, because I have my group, The Commission Talks. Off the Top Ropes podcast, my boy Shiz the Blackheart. We are all into that commission group. Like we grew that thing from the ground up, and we did one season for 30 episodes. Actually, over 30 episodes. And season 2 will be out in September. I know people have been begging and asking us for it. We're coming back in September.
There you go, everybody. There you go, September.
So commission talks. We don't know exactly when in September, but September is probably going to be that date back. My boy Cyber Yeti. My boy Dre from the 1130 podcast, myself, and my Disney reference buddy himself, Shiz Blackheart. We will be back on the commission. I know we shook that thing up insane. People loved our reactions and stuff on that, but he hates Mandy. And it is based off of the in-ring ability and stuff like that. And they had. And one of the guys on there, he was like, rumor has it that they were playing Kingdom in the building. I'm like, how many times that people hear Punk's music just to make a sound check and just make it nerve-wracking? Punk is going to be in the building. Like,
right, I know. When he returned on Wednesday, like I was like shocked, but they even said that he was still limping too. So it's like I don't know. It should be interesting to see
No,
what
that was Tony Khan begging him, like, hey,
he's like
people are
begging him.
not liking you now. We need you back.
Yeah,
You're making me look bad now.
I
Get
mean, yeah.
back.
And I think like people are gonna work. I mean, like we could do a whole podcast on this and stuff, but I think that's the best thing for wrestling.
Everybody knows my personal
WWE.
opinions of Mr. Phil, the whiny baby punk.
gotta love Phil. But yeah,
No.
I don't know. Like I'm gonna stick with Mandy because I'm gonna just stick with my gut, and it seems that every time I change my gut, I'm wrong, especially in fantasy sports.
Fans are gonna be upset.
So, but
Mandy wins, oh Lord.
If Zoe Starks wins, I mean, that wouldn't be mad by me. New star, new champion, build her up. She's already been built up. I think she even was shown on TV throughout her rehab. You know what I mean? She was out.
She reminds me of like a Natty and a Beth Phoenix, but promos do need improvement.
Oh yeah,
her promos do
and
need
I mean
improvement.
that's the other thing is these, like we were talking about, these girls are so young. They're like 23, 19, 20. Like all of these girls, all of these superstars are still so young that it's going to take time. Not John Cena didn't get good overnight. He was the prototype. He was John Cena. He was ruthless aggression. Like, and you know what I mean? Like it takes time. Or like I was listening to a podcast of myself when I first started, and I'm like, what the heck? Nobody listened to my match.
Man,
I'm
you
like,
and me
bro,
both.
I'm like,
you
bro,
and me
like,
both.
oh
my first
God.
episode, it hit 100 plays, and I'm sitting there looking at people like, y'all must really have cared about me because I can't even listen to it.
And it's funny because my dad would tell me that. He's like, Trent, you sound like a robot and you sound like this. And I'm like, what do you mean? And I went back and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is awful. And I look at myself now and I'm like, damn, look at me now. So, but I'm going to take Mandy and we'll see how that goes on Tuesday, man. Maybe we'll have to have you back on in a few weeks or something. We can talk about how all this goes and we can see if I'm right or wrong. Or who's right or wrong. I'll keep a tally on Tuesday.
Let's get a hair pulling match.
Let's
do a hair pulling match. There you go. Throw a gimmick of them trying to pull each other's hair the whole match. That'd be entertaining.
Whoever rips out the most hair wins the match. But
put it in a bowl.
Put it in a bowl.
Have them both wear wigs and they're just sitting there pulling each other's hair flat off.
I mean, that would be a great Vince McMahon idea. He'd be like, "That's great shit, man. You don't understand. That's good shit. People's gonna like that." But anyway,
they'd just be using Shawn Michaels' wig, man. What you talking about?
We'll talk about Shawn Michaels after we get through these matches because interesting about my man Shawn Michaels. But the next match that we are going to talk about, because we have 2 more matches left to cover here that are going to go down on NXT, and I'm sure there might be some promos and we might see Lash Legend. I don't know how you feel about Lash Legend, but I don't really like her too much, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the next match that we're going to talk about, it is a street fight between Tony D'Angelo and Santos Escobar. If Tony wins, Santos Escobar is banned from NXT, which means he's not leaving WWE, people. He's probably going to go to Raw or SmackDown. And if Santos wins, Legado del Fantasma, I still can never say that right, Legado, is free from the D'Angelo family. And this match... Okay. I don't know if it's... I feel like this match might start the show. I'm trying to do it on the matches I feel that are like least important to most important. But I feel like that they might start off with this match just because it is a street fight. And, like they always say, like, you got to start off good and you got to end good. And especially like in WWE 2K, I don't know if you ever play that, like the new one with my GM and everything. I've noticed, like, that's exactly what you have to do. So I feel like
it's like a pace.
Yeah.
It's a pacing to the matches. Like your first match, like from me being an independent wrestler, man, like you wanted the first or the last match. Those were the 2 numbers that you wanted on a card because that means you got the freedom to do what you want. Exactly. You get to tell what the crowd is investing in. And I tell people that's the match that challenges people because you are the very first to let that audience decide, hey, do they like that arm drag? Hey, did they like that drop kick? Hey, did that kip up make any sense to them? Like, those are the ones that really you get to have a fun fest with. I used to love being the first match. My very first match in wrestling was the first match.
True. I mean,
that was very nerve-wracking.
Oh, I bet. I could not imagine, man. Like, that's crazy. But this street fight, I think that these 2 are going to tear the house apart. I think that they're just gonna tear the cap. What do they call it now? What is it? It's not the Performance Center. What are they calling it? The Capitol or the oh my god. I can't think of what the hell
they don't call it the Performance Center no more?
No, well no, not this I can't think of what the hell the
Oh, the arena for them? Okay.
Yeah, what the arena name is where them. I always forget what that for. It's not Full Sail. I'm thinking of NXT Black and Gold. But anyway, I think that they're gonna tear the arena apart wherever the hell they're at. You know what, people? I don't know. I can't keep track of what day it is. I'm losing track. What is it? Thursday? No, it's Friday. We got SmackDown.
I think it's in Full Sail thing. I think it's still there.
It's yeah. I forget. I'm sure somebody probably knows. Let me know in the chat what it is called. I forget. But I think that they're going to tear the house apart. I'm sure Legado del Fantasma will get involved. I'm sure Tony D'Angelo, maybe 2 Dimes will come out of the water. I still can't believe they threw that guy over the. They killed that man off like he was a piece of trash. They threw him out.
That's how you know proper storytelling, because they threw him out,
and he went into the Lake of Reincarnation and came back into AEW. I was just like, that's wild. But I'm sure everybody's going to get involved, man, and I'm sure that this is going to be insane. At least I hope it is, because I don't know if you saw, Santos Escobar was at the WrestleMania Access launch party last night, and I think that was kind of a way for people to be like, that's Santos Escobar, because you know what I mean? Like, getting his face out there to a couple more people, I think that's good, because then when he does debut, people are like, Santos Escobar, because again, a lot of people don't watch NXT 2.0, or they'd have never watched NXT. There's a lot of people I talk to, though, I don't like NXT. I don't watch Black and Gold. I don't watch 2.0. And it's I get 2.0, but Black and Gold was the best goddamn professional wrestling going on at the time. Between
this is the thing, though.
Oh,
they weren't gimmick wise; they were wrestling wise, all that stuff. And that's one thing that I was scared about when Triple H was going to do it at first, is because Triple H has got that analogy of wrestling, but he also has that character credibility, and the character credibility standpoint on the NXT Black and Gold was not as standoutish as everybody would have thought, because when they went to the main roster, they realized that shtick that they did in NXT only worked for 30% of that audience. And that's what really drowned them out, because then guess what? They invested so much into that character that they were in NXT. They didn't know how to do these newer characters, and fans threw that out the water, because they're like, no. Say a great example, Tyler Breeze.
Gotta love it.
Tyler Breeze was a sensational standout in NXT.
Yeah.
He should have got more of a run in the main roster, but
he makes comments about that on Up Up Down Down all the time, him and Xavier Woods, because Xavier Woods will make comments to him and he'll be like, damn, he won't say anything specifically, but
Xavier will take little things
and it's
but the black and gold was a sensational thing, but for the average fans, WWE fans are all mainly, not, I wouldn't say all of them now, but I'd say 62% of it are the average fans of wrestling.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a hit or miss to do an all wrestling type show. Because
of course you got to throw some sport entertainment in there. I mean, I like some of the entertainment. It just
I think this match will be an entertainment thing standpoint. It's gonna, because with the street fight, it's gonna be all over the place.
And with Triple, and that's the thing. And I mean, we'll see, because I've heard, people think that Bruce is in charge of NXT still, but we'll get into that a little later, or in a little bit. But yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I think Tony's gonna win this match. I think that Santos Escobar is gonna lose. He's gonna disappear for a couple weeks and then come up to the main roster.
I think he'll be on SmackDown or something.
That's what I think that will happen, because I think that Santos Escobar, I mean, what else can he really do in NXT? I mean, he's pretty much done it all besides win the NXT championship. I really don't see that happening. I mean, we'll talk about that next. The champion.
He reminds me of Andrade.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw those reports too about some of the people that are signed with AEW. They obviously didn't say who it was, but they said they probably would have just stayed in WWE with Triple H being in charge, and I'm sure he was one of them. And
that is almost that entire roster. That's probably that entire roster, except FTR, because FTR knew they were protected. Yeah. Chris Jericho knew he was protected. John Moxley, as much as he hated WWE, he would have signed that dotted line if
Oh,
he
you
was
know it.
getting booked like
You
half of
know
these
it.
other guys.
Oh, you know it damn well.
If Swerve and Keith Lee didn't get those titles or anything acknowledged on
No.
there, guess what? They would have been popping back on
Easily.
WWE
Oh,
TV.
easily. And that's the thing, like it could still happen, you know? Like it's not like WWE is going anywhere. It's gonna be around forever. Yes, 5 years seems like a long time, but let's be real here. Me and you were talking about the Jaguars and the championship game. That was 5 years ago. Like, you know, I don't want to bring it up, man. And I know you said people take shots at you on the Jaguars, but
my
I'm
gosh.
sorry. But I mean, like that's how
Go
fast time
Jags!
goes.
We play the Browns tonight. Let's see how that goes.
Man, football season's around.
Preseason. We're undefeated in preseason.
Hey, it's a new season. Everybody's undefeated.
Everybody's undefeated. Exactly.
The Bears are undefeated. The Browns, everybody. Tom Brady hasn't lost or won a game yet.
Cheers to our undefeated streak right here.
Cheers. Funny as hell. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I just think, I don't know. So who are you going to take and win this match?
I like Tony. Tony has gotten so much more standoutish than most of these guys.
Like
the match that he did with Ciampa, that he did with Ciampa for his last match got me to be a fan of this guy because I was just sitting there. I was like, so why is Ciampa wrestling this guy? Like I would think, you know, after he lost to Breaker, that would have been it for him. But then when he did this match with Tony, I was just like, and I watched it and I was like, this is actually not bad. Like Ciampa is showcasing this guy's credibility, and his character was being very driven inside of his persona of wrestling at the same time. And I was like, he might be a good standout as a main heel for NXT. And Escobar, I didn't really know much of him. That's the same reason like I wasn't a big fan of Andrade at first. I wasn't familiar with Andrade outside of all those others. And when I actually got to personally see Andrade wrestling, I was like, okay, I see now. And the match that I saw with him that made me respect him was the match that he did with Johnny Gargano. And that match showcased him. So I would say Tony's got more of a personal favorite to this, but judging by how like the card is, you kind of want to make it 50-50 with the baby faces and the bad guys winning back and forth.
Yeah.
So what's the states if Escobar wins?
So if Escobar wins, he gets to, let me just make sure. I'll put it back on. If Tony wins, Santos is banned from NXT, so that means he'll go to the main roster. But if Tony wins, I'm sorry, Santos is banned. But if Santos wins, he's free from Legado because they're still in the group.
So they're like that little group. Okay.
Yeah. So they're free, or Santos gets Santos gets, you know. And I think you got to bring all of them up. You know, you got to bring him up with the two dudes, Raul and whatever I forget what the hell his name is. And there are too many people.
I'm gonna say Tony, unless if Escobar is going to the main roster, which I don't know much of Escobar to actually give him that prop to get to the main roster to get that major pop when he gets up there. So,
well, that's the only thing I worry about too, is about a lot of people not knowing who he is.
They don't have that much of a showcase to it. I mean,
so that's why I think also if you take him off TV, maybe you do some vignettes, maybe you do something like that. Maybe, you know what I mean, promote him a little bit.
Brand it out, get that more extended in there. Yes.
Like they don't really talk about it, but look at the promos and look at the stuff that Aleister Black did before he left WWE. He sat in a closet room and did all these promos, came out and
you got invested into it.
We got
invested into it.
I want to see Alice do the same thing with Santos, and he'll be perfectly fine. I have all the trust in the world with Triple H, so I'm not worried about that. But I think this match is going to be a great one. But as Mark Henry likes to say, it's going to be time for the main event, and it is JD. Don't laugh at me. I always do.
No, I love how Mark Henry thought that needed to be the slogan for AEW.
That's all I know him for now, man. It's like, what happened to the big monster where that is the world's strongest?
That boy over here, sexual chocolate about main events now.
Chocolate.
It's
Who can forget about sexual chocolate? But
Get your Mae Young on in this main
Oh
event.
God, man, jeez, Louise. I thought I was watching a porno
The
when I saw
5-star
Mark Henry.
finger death match.
The 5-star finger death match. I hope this match is 5 stars because I've heard a lot of good things and a lot of bad things about this match. And it
If
is
Meltzer rates it, then it's not.
JD McDonagh, formerly known as Jordan Devlin, going up against the NXT champion, Braun Breaker. Obviously, you know who Braun Breaker is and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to ask you, how do you feel about Braun Breaker's title run? Going up against Joe Gacy, the thing they did with his dad and all that
He's
weird stuff.
showcasing himself. I've literally said I've not seen one bad thing of Braun.
No?
Braun Breaker is being a very good standout. He's what literally is the captain of that NXT brand.
Do you think that there's any way he loses in this called up?
And it's called up?
Yeah.
I say give it still more time with him because
Yeah, I agree too.
he is
I've
the
heard it a
captain
lot
of
from
that team right now. He needs to still be that guy.
Yeah.
This match would, I know him as Jordan Devlin. I don't know the newer guy.
Yeah, it's just,
I like the character. I like the character because it's giving him a new expression. Like Jordan's always had a different personality.
Yeah.
It doesn't make him look bad. It doesn't make him look weak. It doesn't make him look any other different way. You're just seeing this guy be a bad guy. And I think this is a good standout for Braun because I think Braun's going to win because obviously this is another one to actually get him more showcased. Like this is how you showcase your champion. Keep him wrestling all these guys, overcome the odds, and come out as the victor in the background. I'll do the underdog. I'll do the underdog story. I know it's gonna be wrong, but I'm gonna go with Jordan.
He's good. Now, oh, you're changing it now. You're going with Jordan.
I'm gonna go with Jordan. Okay. Just to have fun controversy with it. Let's go with Jordan.
I mean, but hey, at least if you're right, then we could go back here on Tuesday or Wednesday and be like, hey, you called it.
I did it.
You did
Mama,
it.
I did it.
You did it. Hi, Mom. We did it.
I did it, Mama. I did it.
We're on YouTube. What's up, Mom? Hi. How you
got
doing
my candy corn today.
You got your candy corn. Funny yourself. But I'm gonna take Braun Breaker to win. Like you said, I agree with you. Where I think that he still needs more time, like to be the face of NXT and be there and do this and that and have more rivalries. Like I think even
he's doing so much to get this brand on its feet.
I mean, yeah, and that's the thing, and we'll talk about it in a minute about something that was said a little bit earlier today about who was actually running NXT. But I think that Braun was in a little bit.
Braun is getting the push of how John Cena got in the PG era, and he's gonna have to take the beatings. He's gonna have to take the scenarios and stuff like that. That's how you get this product invested into that character. Like for the longest time, I guarantee you, a lot of people just watched NXT 2.0 to watch Braun Breaker because he just gave you that mold of what a superstar looks like. And I mean, they should never have put him on that Raw or SmackDown, but it looked good. And the matches he did with Ziggler, I loved every single one of them.
See, people talk bad about Ziggler, but he's one of the best guys.
Ziggler is the guy that makes you, when you wrestle Ziggler, and if you get the showcase what you got with him, that just means, hey, you made it.
Yeah.
You made it to the team.
Exactly.
And Ziggler is not that young anymore. Ziggler has got so many different opportunities. The dude's doing comedy shows along with wrestling and along with any other thing that he does.
I know.
So,
he's
a
doing
championship material standpoint for him, he might love it, and then he's just like, that's way more time consuming than I need it right now.
Exactly. And that's the thing. A lot of people hated everything that happened during WrestleMania and him being on NXT and him having the NXT champion and everything. But I mean, I don't think it was as bad as everybody says it out to be. Maybe they should have done something else. But I mean, the stuff those matches were perfectly fine and they were good for having a WrestleMania weekend. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that watched NXT Stand and Deliver that weekend because of Ziggler. And because he's been on the main roster.
That main event was so good. The ending was a little sketchy. Like, I did not see Ziggler beating him.
But who can be real here? We're just going to expect that with WWE. That's always going to be their thing. I just hope they get away from the DQ finishes and the goddamn no finishes.
I mean, it's not bad. it's not bad if
it's not done all the time. Like,
if it's exactly, and
like
that's
that's the
one
thing.
thing.
Like
It's
AEW does
tough to
it, and
do.
it's fine. But they do it. They don't do it every single time. They get the match.
I'm trying
You're
to be
fun.
good today.
Why? What do you got to say? You trying to be good? Funny as hell.
Oh my
Well, I'm
gosh.
taking Braun Breaker to win the end. Or like I said, I'm gonna
I'll
take
put it
Braun
this
Breaker.
way. People can get mad at me anyway. I put
I
all
mean,
those
hey,
guys
that's
on
okay. Who
NXT
cares?
2.0 over Eddie
I mean,
Kingston any day of the week.
hey, if that, I mean, we all have our own opinions. There's nothing wrong
No,
with
I'm
that.
just
People
saying,
don't
like
like it.
a
Hey, who cares what
character-driven
people?
in-ring ability. I would put anybody from the NXT 2.0 roster over Eddie Kingston.
True. I mean, true.
Bring the controversy. I
I mean,
would
hey,
love to have these
hey,
debates with
bring it.
anybody.
I mean, hey, we gotta love the debates, man.
All
There's
those
nothing wrong with
special gimmick
debates.
matches, I say Eddie Kingston is the new popular Nick Gage.
Man, how about that exploding barbed wire match though? That was great,
Oh
wasn't it?
my god.
But since now we all covered all of the matches and everything,
the meat grinder matches.
funny as hell. Let's get back into the chat a little bit, and then we'll talk about a few things, and then I'll let you go so you could go and do whatever you got to do on your Friday night. Whatever. Got to go relax, have a good night. So off the script, funny as hell. He keeps saying, he said, I showed that one. Where that I saw it. That's not what I say, Warren. Get your facts straight. He said. He said
Simba has arrived, bro.
He said, bro, he acts like my wife. Actually, that's why I call him my man wife. Oh, so you're his man
wife, not
I
midwife.
see.
Okay,
Oh,
man
okay.
wife.
You're the man wife. I got you now. It all makes sense.
Shiz, I'm sitting on 4 hours of sleep, so man and mid will go together.
Bro, you need to go get some sleep, my man.
Nah, man, I'm good. Like I just had to travel and stuff for my kids and stuff. So
I guess there's no days off, right, for Mr. Warren?
Oh yeah.
Nah. So we
also
Underground
got Temple.
Underground Temple. Welcome to the stream, man. Thanks for coming and hanging out. He says Fabian Eichner is a former Evolve champion, so I don't mind him being a singles guy, but he would be better off in Imperium as WWE needs tag teams on the main roster. I agree.
But they would split early.
Yeah, I agree they need tag teams. And I think like that's a good thing. Like if they want to bring, like we'll talk about it in a minute. Like when I get into everything, like we got 2 more things I just want to talk about before I let you go. But yeah. So I think that the tag teams, like we'll see what happens with them. But I really hope that they like either combine them, make them into one tag team, or do something. Like because like how long? Like I like the Usos having them, but like I feel like there's no like tag team that's gonna like we don't.
It's making you watch the product to see who's beating the Usos.
No, I mean, hey, I completely agree. I just think that I want to see
the
like
Ric Flair booking.
The Ric Flair. Oh God, don't get me started on Ric Flair's last not match. He wants to do it again. He's off the script pod rope or off the top ropes on podcast. I said off the script ropes. That's the thing. They broke up these stables fast. Or nor let them maritate. Yeah, I mean they break them up all the time. I mean they look at well I mean
bro, they're like speed daters. You get that moment for 10 minutes and then all right, back off this. We gotta go to a new one.
Yeah, and he also says Imperium, for instance. There's so many of them that honestly I feel like the only stable that hasn't been split up is the New Day. And that's because the New Day sells T-shirts and Booty-O's.
New Day is your transcenders in the tag team.
Yes, exactly.
As much as people want to get mad about it, you got grown men wearing unicorn horns and stuff, you're over. I don't use that reference a lot. You're over. If you got grown men wearing purple tie-dye and you got this big old muscular man in a singlet sitting here pulling out pancakes out of the thing, and you're sitting there like, throw me pancake, like you're over. You got what you needed out of this.
Funny as hell. So while
I agree, not to the draft.
So while you were talking to them, my friend just texted me, and it's funny that Chris says this. He says Roxanne Perez beat the hell out of Cora, Jade, and wins. I kind of hope so. I agree with you, Chris. My friend just texted me and goes, Braun Breaker and Cora Jade are officially dating.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that was breaking news. Okay, I guess not. Whatever. But
If
good for
if they're
them.
not dating, they're hanging out, and people are just losing it because they were on their Instagram.
I mean, I didn't see that. I thought that was some breaking news. So whatever. But good for Cora and
I agree
Braun.
with you, Shiz, on that one.
They
I agree
all,
on that.
They pulled the rivalry too fast, in my opinion. Man, I guess I should have stayed up with all the chats, man. My bad. That's okay.
Oh, you good.
But bro, they barely was a tag team. Yeah. I mean, what's up, Wilt? Welcome. Thanks, Wilt, for coming and hanging out. Tino, I'm here. Bro, Mandy has to retain, and Cora Jade better beat Roxanne, he says. I mean, I want to see Roxanne win, and I mean, I think Mandy will win, but I mean, if Zoe wins, I ain't gonna be mad because then they're building a new star, and I think she'll be perfectly
fine. It's the payoff from the injury or something like that, but
yeah,
she still needs a lot of work. She still does need a lot of work. Like in-ring ability, she's good. Now, presentation as a champion, not so much.
No. Off the Top Ropes podcast, Cora reminds me of an emo chick. Yeah, she does. She reminds
I knew he was going to.
She reminds me.
That's why I say AJ Lee.
Yeah, like
AJ Lee and Paige.
Yeah,
those are the two combinations right there.
I mean, yeah, I mean, because even like her size too. Because I mean,
I'm not even gonna say Ruby because at least Cora looks freaking good. Like,
I mean, hey, nothing against Ruby Soho. I mean, she's not. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there.
Not my taste. It's just not my taste.
No, I feel you. I mean, hey, we all got different tastes out there. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there that is like in love with Fakita Lyons, and that's like the most beautiful woman on the planet Earth, and that's the only thing that they don't want.
Huh? Mr. Hotline.
Mr. Hotline?
Mr. Drake himself.
Oh, Mr. Drake. What's up, Chris? He says Sasha Banks returns after Dakota Kai and Io win the tag team championship tournament. That's another thing I was going to say, too, is I feel like they could possibly return after the tournament where the winners are standing in the end. They're celebrating. The confetti's going off. I hope they don't do confetti like they do after every AEW event. Like, nope, we don't need the confetti every 4 seconds, Pearson.
They got that off the New Japan streamer thing, man.
But so I could see it. But I think that would be really cool maybe to do it where they're both holding the titles and then they come out and be like, no, we never lost the titles or something like that. Maybe. I don't know. It should be really interesting, though, but I think that's the way they're going to reintroduce them. There's no other way I feel like they can reintroduce them into WWE. Yeah,
it's got to be a pay-per-view. Sasha's not going to come back on a Raw or SmackDown.
And I mean, if Clash at the Castle wants to be in, I know the women all have like all those they have like all like maybe. But if they want to wait a little bit longer, wait until what's the one after? Is the next one Extreme Rules?
I think it's Survivor Series.
Is it Survivor Series? I thought there was one more, but maybe not. Maybe not. But even wait.
No, hold on. So
I forget. I don't know.
Survivor Series usually is
November. Yeah, because it's usually in November.
It is in November.
So I think Extreme Rules is in October. I think, I'm not mistaken. But
I mean, either way, you want something that's going to steal that show persona, especially with the return.
Exactly, and that's
Sasha's it would work, but the thing is, how are you going to extend that out to make it where the crowd's not going to understand what's going on?
Exactly,
and I think that is smart what they're doing with the standout where they did the Comic-Con. Everybody was pissed off, like I paid $150 and I was this far away from Sasha and Naomi, which it's kind of smart in a way too, because you're like,
yeah, we don't like you.
They don't want to know that demographic. Like, we don't like you. That's giving you it's good for press in a way, but it's also giving you bad representation because they're like kids and stuff. That's how that group was created. Honestly, like kids love those two. Like,
yeah,
the Bianca Belair fans used to be them Sasha Banks fans. Used to be them glow nights or whatever they called her groups. Like it's a hit or not.
Off the Top Ropes says he doesn't.
I agree. I've said that from day one. I say Tamina would be a better option.
True. I didn't even think about Tamina. True. Well, hey, okay.
Tamina could be one of the muscle ones compared to that. Honestly,
he says no Samoan DNA. So you just said Tamina. Tamina's got the Samoan DNA. So
yes,
I mean you're right.
I got an argument with a lot of people about that one because they're like, Naomi should be in the bloodline. I'm like, why? She's not Samoan.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you guys won two out of three. I can't say much anymore. We got Roxanne Perez is 20 and Cora's only 21. Cora can
Yep.
just start drinking. That's ridiculous, man. I'm over it. I quit. We're doing something wrong. Chris says Mandy retains. We'll see, man. I don't know, Chris. Chris also says if Mandy loses and Toxic do get called up, they should be on SmackDown because we have control on Monday Night Raw. Great. We were talking about Survivor Series. Toxic Attraction versus Control. Survivor Series match right there. Raw versus SmackDown. Why not? We saw the Shield versus the New Day. What was that, 2017 or 18, something like that? I think that would be a great idea. Chris, I agree with you, man. That would be great. We got
If Big E
MJF
never
in the
got hurt, I would have
building.
loved.
What's up, MJF? Hello, how are you doing, MJF? It's one of my cousin's friends.
Oh yeah.
So he also says, anyone here? Yes, we are here. Sorry, MJF. I wasn't in the comment. We were trying to go over through everything. Hi, Tino. Welcome. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Chris says Tony D'Angelo wins. And he also says Braun Breaker wins. So we got a lot of things that are going down. He also says, I don't like Cora Jade. I mean, well, I guess a lot of people, you like who you want, man. I don't know. That's okay, though. But
that's the thing about wrestling, man. You get to choose what you want.
We're all caught up on the chat as of now, and I got two more things before I let you go. I want to talk about real quick. Tonight, or before we get to tonight, we have Tuesday, and we talked a little bit about it earlier, but this came out this morning. I saw it, and I just wanted to talk about it because we are talking about NXT Heatwave on this. Shawn Michaels came out and said a quote, and he said, and I quote, I know a lot of people thought Vince and Bruce were doing that. I can promise you they did not have the time to do NXT television. If it's good or if it's bad, that's on me. Shawn Michaels says about NXT 2.0 and about everything going on. And, people have said about Bruce running it and everything like that. But you also mentioned a little bit earlier about how they don't have the time, and do they really care about NXT 2.0? They barely know the people's names, let's be real here. So I kind of
look what they did with Karrion Kross.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when they went, whatever the heck happened, they tried to get rid of everything in the black and gold. Like everything, every superstar, every person is gone. Like, let's be real. Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano is another one that possibly could come back. Candice LeRae. There's a lot of other people that could possibly come back. And it's just it's interesting to see, because if Shawn is really running this, then why is everybody bashing on it so much? Because we love Shawn Michaels. But, because people still think Bruce is running it. And it's you know what I mean? Because if Bruce is still running it, then yes, that is what it is. And Bruce is obviously a Vince guy. And, Shawn Michaels is a Triple H guy and everything. But I don't know if you did see Caden Carter and Katana Chance took a picture with Shawn Michaels after they won the NXT Tag Team Champions. Thank God they did, because they deserve it. They've been working their ass off. Casey Capizaro, Katana Chance, she's been around forever. I've been watching her since I was 12 on American Ninja Warrior.
I was going to say, she was one of the populars off the Ninja Warrior.
Her.
She stood out in that.
She was the first girl, because I would watch that since I was 10 years old. She was the first girl that I would always think about when I would think about that. But that coming out about about Shawn Michaels being in charge of and everything like that, it's just interesting, because that's all we've been hearing about since Vince got released and everything, is about Bruce has been this and Bruce that, and it feels like a Bruce show and blah, blah, blah. But maybe it is really Shawn Michaels, because you even said the Marty Najeti, the Shawn Michaels, everything with that.
You say his name wrong. He doesn't really need the respect right now, the way he is in life.
Man, I cannot pronounce people's names for the life of me. It's awful. I'm so bad.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Marty
Janetti,
hit my cousin up, Janetti. Yeah, Marty, there you
go. Yeah, but but I don't know, man. I just wanted to talk about that because it was interesting to see that it did come out, because everything. And if Shawn Michaels is running it, I think, like I said, I'm sure you've said it. Everybody in the IWC said it. It's not going to happen overnight. Give it time. It's going to take time for Triple H to get everything where he wants, to get it back to whatever the hell he wants to. It's not going to happen overnight. Change.
It's not going to happen over a year.
It's
going to take some time.
Yeah, and it's like with podcasts, it takes time for people to notice you, and it takes time for you to get noticed and people to watch and stuff. I was looking at my numbers and I saw I had 50 views on a 3-hour live stream, and now I'm doing 300 or 400 views, and it's just you know what I mean? It takes time to build that up and do things and have people watch it. So I think NXT will be perfectly fine. And if Shawn Michaels is running it, I think we'll be in good hands. But tonight on SmackDown, the last thing I want to talk about before I'll let you go, because I know I've kept you a lot longer than I probably should have. So the last thing I want to talk about, we got Friday Night SmackDown tonight. We got Gunther versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship. We got another Women's Tag Team Championship tournament match. We got a lot of things going on tonight. But there are rumors out that we might see the return. We've talked about stables a lot today. And we are apparently going to see the return of Hit Row besides Isaiah Swerve Scott. There has been a lot of talks within the last 24 hours about a potential WWE run for Hit Row, Top Dollar, formerly known as the NFL star AJ Francis. Is that right, Francis? Yep. He was on the Most Wanted Treasure on A&E. He did a lot of that, and he was the one that would bring the superstars and introduce them to people like me that have collections and all the crazy stuff. But then he was released with the budget cuts in November of 2021, and there are several sources that say that he is expected to be at tonight's SmackDown. I found this yesterday. Tomorrow's SmackDown, yet today's SmackDown. So it should be interesting. Could we see the return of Hit Row tonight? And you were talking
maybe
about
that means somebody was raiding somebody's TikTok. That's what that sounds like.
And you were talking about something earlier. If you want to tell the people about what you think is really happening and how you think that he may have never been fired and he's been with WWE this whole time. And
I mean, he's been getting paid to do the hidden treasure stuff. Like, people gotta realize, like,
I hope that show
you don't have to be on WWE TV to be hired. Look at Matt Cardona. No. Matt Cardona, and the house that he has. Would you have expected that, knowing that he wasn't on TV on your television every single week?
No. Have you seen that Have you seen that man's collection? That's my goals in life.
Exactly. Like, that's what he used this money for, is action figures, props, Ghostbusters, all that stuff. Like,
I mean, look I
get jealous on some of the things.
I mean, look at the stuff around me. I want to be like Matt Cardona eventually, man. Like the pops.
I'm trying to block my green screen, trying to block my wife's closet over here, but it's not a man cave standpoint to where, oh yeah, I got action figure central out here. So I get jealous when I look at Matt Cardona stuff. I'm like, man, I wish I could have done it. My wife's into that rose gold and all type of holidays and stuff. So it's like, when I get to decorate the house, it's like, I get maybe my occasional Dragon Ball Z hoodies and get to showcase a little bit of stuff like that. But other than that, I don't have like stuff like that. So when you watch that stuff and it's like, that's when hey man, that's where the money's at. Regardless if you're on TV or not. If you getting paid like that,
I mean,
you're not getting paid a crappy check just to be for something like that. Like, you have to get some acknowledgement in there.
Yeah, and
AJ Francis, he stood out in the Indies quick because, one, he was a Dallas Cowboy player.
Yeah.
So he wrestled all through Texas, which Texas loved him for wrestling areas. Like, he's actually a very decent wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, and like, honestly, like, if they're gonna come back as a tag team, he might not need to do as much.
You don't have to do much.
You know what I mean? Because obviously Swerve Strickland can't come back. He signed to AEW and everything. But if they bring back Adadius and they bring back Top Dollar, whatever the hell if they call him AJ, they bring back B-Fab. Maybe we see the return of B-Fab. I think that they should bring them all. Like, just put the group back together the way it was. Or even, like, I was listening to JD from New York 206. Shout out to my man JD. But I was listening to him. He made a comment. Maybe they bring people, have somebody join the faction like a Carmelo Hayes, like a Trick Williams, like somebody like that takes the spot of that, where, like, it's Hit Row.
Kind of like a hype guy?
Yeah, kind of like somebody like that, where they can kind of like come back and they can kind of do what Triple H wanted to do with them, but Vince gave them a week or two and they had that random rap battle. And I thought that was great, whatever they did, that rap thing that they did. I thought that was phenomenal, and it was different. It was entertaining. It was good. I thought it was. But then they were disappeared and everything. So apparently Hit Row is supposed to be on SmackDown tonight. Should be really interesting. And I've been kind of waiting to, kind of not waiting to say it, but so it should be interesting to see if Hit Row returns.
I mean, think of like how Michael Cole introduced them when they first got drafted.
Yeah.
The newer future sensation. And I was shocked when they released him. I mean, I knew B-Fab wasn't going to last long as a wrestler because, I mean, she just, there's a saying. There's some people that have it, and there's some people it takes some time, whatever, and then
Yeah.
you don't. B-Fab is probably in that category. It's just B-Fab tried so hard to fake the fight, but make it look like she fought the person. But then it messes up her mind to be like, oh man, I accidentally hit you hard. Oh, I accidentally forgot this spot. Oh, I forgot this. Those are the things that you've got to be more control of, especially when you're in that type of product. Um, Regardless of it is still a wrestling show, even
Yeah.
though it's soap opera,
Exactly.
whatever. It's wrestling. That is what
Exactly.
wrestling is portrayed in. But
Yes.
B-Fab being released, I wasn't really shocked on that part, just because the promos she was gold on that. But her in-ring ability, that was what was going to make or break her. And but with AJ Francis, that little announcement, I was just like, man, maybe that's just because they didn't want him wrestling on TV shows or something like that. Like,
Yeah. I mean, because
maybe
even
give
if
him time because they wanted to see if they could repackage it, or if they had to bring that back. Like, he had something to follow up on, because they're not going to fully release somebody, especially if
no,
they got a WWE product
well,
that he's got to
exactly.
get royalties of for A&E.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Have you ever watched that show? Like, have you ever sat down and like watched like
Hmm.
have you did you? Okay.
I watched a couple of them, man. Like, I knew of him for a while, and he would talk about WWE like no
Yeah.
other.
Oh, I know, and that was
And
the thing, and it also seemed like throughout the series, like, because I'm like a crazy collector and everything, so I love that series. So I watched it all. It
he
seemed like
loves
him and Triple H
everything of
about yeah. Oh no, he would,
wrestling.
and even on some of his TikToks and everything, like after he got released and everything, he even like made like some TikToks where like, he didn't say it,
Video
but he like
games and
yeah.
wrestling.
And it
That
seemed
is
like
what that
him and
boy
Triple
likes.
H were very close. If you
Oh
noticed a
yeah.
lot, it seemed like they would talk, they would text. Like Triple H
Triple
would
H
call
got
him.
him into that show.
Yeah,
Triple
Triple H.
H pulled in for him because it was either him or, at the time, I think it was Brian Myers.
Oh God,
And Triple H wanted Francis
AJ.
to be that representation of him
Oh, gotcha.
because it
Okay,
was a
see, I
newer
didn't know that.
flavor or something like that. Because
Yeah,
Brian Myers, he was a very popular fig collector because obviously him and Zack Ryder.
yeah.
I mean, Matt Cardona.
Oh,
But
don't.
but here's the thing is, you're not going to put Brian Myers on there, especially if he's on Matt Cardona's show all the time.
Exactly.
So that not going to make him showcase, especially on a WWE product.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you're going to bring somebody that's new, fresh. You need to show some. You need to show his face off to get him out there. And then when you see with these legends, like honestly, I tell you right now, man, that's a payoff for me. Get to see the Undertaker. Go do a show with this guy.
Yeah.
Go see
Right,
Kane. Go to his house.
bro.
Like,
That would be
these are the things, like, I would say
bro.
that's a
Dreams.
payoff for me.
Bro, I would
Like,
you get paid to go and hang out with these guys, literally, and then go and see the collectors. Like if I had
and you're not having
Undertaker,
a bump or anything,
if
sign
I
me up.
if I had Undertaker walking around my house trying to find something that I had like some collector, like if I was like this, I would be like, is Undertaker in my house? Like what? Like what? And AJ just gets to go. Like he was sitting in the car with them and just having a conversation. Like that's probably the coolest thing in the world. I don't know. So,
That episode with Mark Henry and Big Show was pretty
oh,
funny.
oh, it was so great, man. I
The
loved.
one
I
where Mark Henry was crying about the Andre thing, that just
yeah.
tells you,
Oh, it just the
that's what tells you that wrestling means so much
yes.
more to
People don't
people.
understand how much like to be honest, like with me, like wrestling like was like my coping for a long time where like I would go and I would have a
Exactly.
lot of things going on in my
See,
life,
I
but I
love how
knew
you said that. I love how you said that because I have a son that's autistic. And his very first word, and I'm not sugarcoat when I say this, was John Cena.
oh my God.
Very first words, not daddy, not mommy, nothing. John Cena. And it used to be Duntina,
John
Duntina.
Cena?
And he would just say that all the time. And then when he knew what the entrance song was, my son just lit
Oh
up. It was like
man,
when you
and
watch the 80s kid version watching Hulk Hogan. Like, that is what gave me that representation. And then when I became a wrestler, um, I never realized how much I was touching people. I'm thinking, all right, I'm just that USA guy. People are going to have to like me. But then when I got this one guy, his name was Matthew, which was even crazier to know that, like, he was the exact same name as my son. and he went through a stage 3 of cancer,
Oh
and
wow.
he's been following me from the beginning and told me, since AP fought through, say, like this match with Jamie McKinnon, which either if I lost or still, hey, he showed me that he never give up, and keep fighting. And guess what? He came to that show, said I'm cancer free, and like that struck me because I realized this is more than just us going
Yeah.
in that ring, bumping and stuff. Like
I
people
mean,
got to
you have no
realize
idea who
there
you're.
is so much history, milestones. Wrestling should be portrayed like how you see sports.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice, you talk about the memorable catches in the Super Bowls that he's won.
Yeah. I mean,
When you talk about wrestling now, look at Ric Flair. Ric Flair is a hip hop
who
sensation now. John
who would?
Cena. John Cena has revolutionized
I mean, yeah,
WWE in the worst era as possible.
yeah,
People
and
can fight me about this. The worst era of of WWE ever on TV was when John Cena was the big guy, the top guy, because
are you talking
it
about the
just
PG
was
era?
not. It
You're
was
talking about
just
like
not an
2009?
investment. Yeah, it was just not an investment
I
anymore.
mean,
When
yeah,
they left the ruthless aggression era, WWE died
yeah.
for a long time.
No, I mean
But
they
you want
did.
to know what got me back to watch it? On Valentine's Day, The Rock showed up instead of Justin Bieber. Like
Justin Bieber. Oh my God.
I talk to people when I talk about wrestling. I talk about it as like a feeling.
Yeah,
That is what you should have when you watch these matches. You don't watch these matches and be like, oh, Young Bucks did like 30 super kicks and then finally won jumping over the top rope and attacking his own opponent, his own tag team partner, pops back up and gives you a crappy finisher because they're completely blown up. And that was a match. Like, you don't have a feeling towards that. You're just sitting there watching, like, okay, he faked that pretty well. That one actually looked like it might have hurt.
yeah.
Like, you gotta have those feelings. That is why
Well,
the
yeah.
Attitude Era was so standout.
Oh,
You were invested into that
oh,
crap.
yeah, and that they even talk about it all the time because I was still kind of like young because I was born in '96. I'm only 26, so
Okay,
I was.
I was born in
So,
'91, so
oh, okay. So yeah, so I watched it. Like I've been watching wrestling forever, but I just went back and rewatched everything on Peacock, and I've seen all of it now. And it really was. It was just like I would get invested, and I would like I said earlier with the Undertaker and Kane. I thought they were brothers, or you know what I mean?
hmm
Like the sexual chocolate. Like I thought like that was like real. You know what I mean? Like that type of
Mae
stuff
Young
was just
had a
like,
Mark Henry hand. What in the world?
bro. When
The
they
hell with an alien, a hand baby.
bro, it was just like, oh my
Imagine
God,
if
what
they
that?
done that in a match,
Oh,
and Mark Henry loses to his baby hand,
oh
like
my
if
God.
if
Oh,
and
it's
made
so
that like
funny.
some transitional thing like Pokemon, especially if they were like trying to invest like a thing to advertise for the Adams family.
The
Baby
Adams
Mark
family.
Henry hand become a
Baby
champion or something.
Martin. Oh God, I'm surprised Lily isn't a tag team champion with Alexa Bliss by now. If Vince was in charge, he would have done that in a minute. So, but Warren, I want to say thank you, man, for coming and hanging
I
out here
appreciate it,
with
man.
me
This was
and
definitely a lot of fun.
taking and talking about NXT Heatwave. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about Triple H, all the returns. I appreciate you opening up a little bit and telling the story because, like I've talked about a little bit, I don't know if many people know I have cerebral palsy and everything, so it's kind of a hard struggle for me every day and everything. So
hmm
it's nice when I hear stories like that and everything. It's just nice to know that, like, you never know who you are like making a difference for. And like there's a lot of things like since I started doing this that people look forward to seeing me and doing this. So it's just like you really
hmm
don't know who you are ever like putting a mark on and showing that like it's possible. Because you know what I
hmm
mean? Like there's somebody out there I'm sure that's like me or like you that is watching us and is like, you know what I mean? Maybe I could do a podcast. Maybe I could do this.
Oh
And
yeah.
to them I'm gonna say don't give up and continue to do what you're doing because I never thought I'd become this far as I've come and
Me
I'm not
neither.
stopping and you know what I mean? Like I'm sure you're the same way. Like it's just you got to make sure that you believe in yourself, never give up, and just continue to prove what you can do and tell everybody,
It's so genre like you
yeah,
hear that never give up and you're like the first thing you think is like damn man I got John Cena's motto like he might hit me with this copyright infringement like it's just a
I mean,
metaphor like
yeah,
that is literally how
yeah,
you're a transcender if
exactly,
you can use a word and it make you think of that person
exactly,
that is how I want people to see anything that you hear of my investment. When you
Yeah.
hear my name, you go, man, that is one motivating son of a gun. Like, I don't know how he does what he's done. I don't know how he has had this so much knowledge, had these experiences, and still overcome and do what he has done. Like, people, like how you just said with your cerebral palsy and stuff like that, man, that is a big moniker for you to be able to showcase this, because people don't realize you're airing, you're showcasing, even if that's your room or your background or whatever, you're airing your life
Yeah.
for that hour, for that 30 minutes, for stuff like that. You're being very vulnerable because you're on a camera for people to watch what you invest in.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time, like, damn, man, and somewhat podcasting is like a reality show. Like, it's
It is.
literally something like you can either take and be imaginative. Like, I've seen podcasters literally talk about nonsense and it go an hour and people love it
Or the
because it's an
sleeping.
imagination thing.
Or
Like,
the sleeping. I love the live streams that I see that people are sleeping. Like, I could get paid to live stream
I've
sleep. So,
never understood that.
I don't
I'm
understand it
still
either,
very new
but
to TikTok, and I saw that people watched somebody go to sleep and said, like this, if you send me a pleasure, I'll give you a snore. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I'll
yeah,
showcase me sleeping if you
I
need me
mean,
to.
exactly. I
Like,
mean,
you know what I mean?
if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I mean, and that's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like some people think like, like we love doing this, but there's sometimes like, like we were talking about, like it's boring and it's just like, but we got to
Mm-hmm.
make it entertaining. We got to put on a performance. I think that's a great thing. I heard some podcasters say they said you got to put on a performance in front of the camera so people are entertained. You got to keep people entertained, especially during a 3-hour show, 4-hour pay-per-view, a 7-hour WrestleMania, whatever it may be. So,
Got to
you
shake
know,
it up, man. Shake
yeah,
it up. So,
exactly.
one thing I will finish off with, and
Okay.
this is a moniker that I use every single day of the week.
We got off the before you do that, we got off the top rope saying a few things. So before you get that and before we head out, I want to make sure I say this. So do you think Triple H doing the same thing Tony Khan did with the releases and free agents? Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe. He says you
it's
got
an
your big
apple and
boy
apple.
pants on now tonight. Here today. This guy, I love this guy. He's my new favorite.
Oh man, he is a character. Let me
Thank
tell you.
you,
If
Off the
anybody
Top Rope
knows, if
podcast. I
anybody
appreciate it.
knows of that guy right there, he brings the best out of me on Commission Talks every single week.
Well, you
We
said that.
have so much fun.
You say that,
Me and
and he
him,
says that
man.
I need to get the mob on the show. So the mob wants to
There
come
you
on the
go.
show. Come on, I'll come on. You guys, I'll come on the commission. That'll be anytime. Welcome me on. You guys want to come on my show? Hey, I'm
Absolutely.
all about having the mob on Tino's time. Have the
Absolutely,
mob
man.
take
Shout
over
out to the
Tino's time.
OTTR mob, man. They're
OTT
on
mob.
every Friday
Go
night
check them
late
out, everybody.
at 11 p.m.
Uh,
Eastern time. And they go all the way through talking about all of wrestling from that Friday.
Heck yeah! I mean,
So,
they're
and they
putting in the
talk about a
grind.
lot of awesome things. So, shout out to their newer additions, Courtney and Sharzy. They have their own CNC connection. It's two podcasters as females giving their perspective of professional wrestling, which is
I mean,
never
heck,
really done.
yeah. I mean, yeah, not really. I mean, like Renee Paquette has her own podcast and stuff like that, but there's not too many of them. So it's awesome.
So literally you
Before we
getting
do go,
different visuals and stuff like that. So I will say this, and people have told me I need to brand this thing. I always live with this moniker every single day. And people need to realize things happen. Every setback always makes one heck of a comeback.
facts.
And that is something that I live by every single day.
I
Stuff
mean,
can get tough. Stuff can be the hardest you can possibly think. The hardest thing to do is show up. You show up, you've overcame half the odds. And
yeah.
Tino, you've showed up. You've overcame way more obstacles than, and I'm pretty sure
You have no idea.
you've achieved so much compared
You
to what people have told you in your past,
you have no
especially
idea.
with your cerebral palsy and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure people have told you, hey man, you're probably not gonna walk. Hey
Yeah,
man,
no,
you're probably not gonna be able to
I
use your
wasn't.
hands or
I'll
anything
be
like that.
honest. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't supposed to be able to walk, talk. I wasn't. So I was supposed to be in a wheelchair. My mom was
Exactly.
supposed to be feeding
See,
me through a feeding
my
tube,
son,
and that's the
my
type of
son was
stuff that
supposed to be
like.
like that. My son was supposed to be like that. He was on braces. Like he had bad ankles. Like he literally could
Oh.
not put weight on his legs and stuff like this. And my son at 7 years old, started walking. My son started talking clearly. Now to this day, if I brought him in here, you wouldn't even thought you could even question that. It's just things that people don't realize. You
Yeah,
show up, you perform, and you do what you need to do. Anything is possible. I know that is a
exactly.
very catchy
And
cliche thing, but
anything is possible.
it
Let's leave
works
it on
more.
that, man. Let's leave it on that for the people. So before
But
we do
Tino,
go, I
I do
want to say thank
appreciate you, man. This was
thank you
fun.
for coming and hanging out. Before we do go, before I let you go, is there anything coming out this week, next week? Anything you want to tell Tino's time, Tino Nation, that to go subscribe? Anything? Put it out
Absolutely,
there.
man. Check it out. Go on my podcast, Buzzing with Marlo. We're on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. All the handles are the same, just at Buzzing with Marlo. Check us out. We are have a Facebook group, Buzzing with Marlo as well. I'll give Tino the link tree. You just check that out. I can't name everything on it. Audio
I'll wait.
wise, we're on all major podcasts.
All the
That's all I can
platforms.
say nowadays because I literally Google it just to see what other new platform I'm on every week. But
I mean, hey, that's
season
good though.
4, I know people have been very excited and stuff knowing about how my ending to season 3 was. Yes, guys, I'm getting back in the ring one more time. So pretty much this whole break, I've been basically getting my body back into this. I know a lot of people look at me now like, you're not a cruiserweight, period. Like I've put on 15 pounds of muscle, just changed my eating, trained my butt off. I'm now fully back in the ring, training regularly. So now the date is supposed to be being made, I think, by the first episode. We'll probably do it the first episode. Just want to make sure we got everything cleared out because actually, I think we're going to air it on the new Buzzin' with Marlo channel. So
Oh, hey,
we're going to air out that last match. This will be my last dance. I'm
your
not going
last
back
dance.
after
No,
this. This is it. I'm done.
gotta
Guys, wrestling is a great thing. It's a great adrenaline, but my body, I cannot put myself through that longevity wise anymore.
I don't
And
blame you, man.
people people don't realize like that takes a lot out of your body. But guys,
Oh yeah.
also go on our link tree, go on my bonfire chat / buzzing with Marlo, get you a tank top. We got blue, red, white. Yeah, you like that? Red, white, and blue. And then
Yeah.
gray, black, you name it, man. We
I
got them out there. T-shirts, V-necks, long sleeves, hoodies. I
I might
mean,
need to get myself a
we just
hoodie.
got hats.
Start
We just
promoting.
got hats too. So
Hey, there you go.
type
So
in
I
promo code Buzz20. I'll
we got
put that down,
promo
man.
code Buzz20.
Say,
We
hey,
got
Tino
promo
sent
codes
you.
here. We
If you
got
say
promo
Tino
codes here
sent
on
you, you
Tino's
get
time.
15% off.
Hey, true. 15% off, people. You hear that? Go do that. What is it? Buzzin' 20?
Also, yeah, Buzz20. Capital,
Buzz20.
all caps,
All
Buzz20.
caps.
And you get
Buzz20,
15% off.
everybody.
Tell me that Tino sent you, and I'll give you 15% off. But if it's
Awesome.
not, the regular is 10% off.
I mean, hey,
And
people, go tell them you get
a
5
lot of
extra
a
percent.
lot of projects coming up. We got commission coming back. I'm gonna be talking with the boys pretty soon. We're gonna probably have a return date sometime in September. We know people are ready for that. Um, I've now got a new segment called "Let's Talk About It" with my good old friend from Michelle Williams.
I just
Uh,
saw that actually too. So yeah, go check that out. That was
it's
really good,
it
man.
was definitely different. If you've seen me, that one put me in a different element because, like I said, I've known this girl for a long, long time since 5th grade, and she is hilarious in so many ways. But it's basically a show talking about the questions that women are hesitant to ask men and what males are hesitant to ask women. And it was a good draw. I mean, I was
I
shocked at
mean,
how well we did on that first episode. It just aired, I think, on Wednesday. So check it out. Let's talk about it. And guys, Buzzing with Marlo season 4 will be back in 2 weeks. I have to
awesome.
extend it out a little bit longer just because I have personal issues going out. I want to say this. My prayers do go out to my wife, her family and stuff, because right now we're in a very tough time with my father-in-law right now.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Um,
man.
this would be the first time I've ever said it.
Well,
It's
I
been
appreciate
really
you
tough.
opening up. Thank you.
It's been really tough. That's why I've been kind of MIA from a lot of things lately right now, just because we are basically telling our farewells to my father-in-law. He's been having colon cancer for, I say, almost 5 years now.
Oh wow.
And we just got the news from the doctor that there's really nothing else we could do. This
Gotcha.
tells y'all how real I am on a podcast because
Yeah, I mean,
I like to say stuff like that. I don't say I'd like to say, obviously that is just wrong
well,
to say,
yeah,
but
no.
I'm saying that is what you got to do to get these audience to know
Exactly.
how real you are in a
Because
podcast.
you have to be real. You can't just put on like a
You
camera.
can't put
You
a
can't.
front on, man.
No, you
So
can't. And that's the other thing I
so
realized.
literally, guys, shout out to my wife and them.
Shout out to her.
We've all been
What's her name?
we've been having some fun. My wife Samantha
Shout out
Marlowe.
to Samantha. Shout out
So
Samantha.
guys, I greatly appreciate Tino. This is a pleasure. I'm gonna
Thank you
have
for
you
coming
back
and
on
hanging
a
out.
Buzzing with Marlowe episode
Okay.
for season 4. So definitely we'll get some talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about wrestling, but I also want to get into talking about you as a person as well. So
Thank you so
greatly
much.
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it.
And thank y'all.
No problem. We had a few more comments. September 2022, he says, for the
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Talk Off the Top Ropes podcast. He says, congrats, brother, having some for his nephew and son. And my man, SCW, the wrestling channel. Steve, thank you for coming and hanging out for a minute, man. I appreciate you always checking out your episodes. Go check out SCW, the wrestling channel podcast. He does quite Q&As, previews, everything. Go check him out on YouTube. Go check out Buzzing with Warren, Buzzing with Marlon. my bad in the beginning.
Marlo. But Tino, also I gotta say this. I'm now officially affiliated with Let's Talk Sports. They have their own Roku channel. So shout out to my boy Dan Harris. He's changed this game, and now I'm the spokesperson for his wrestling topic. So that's gonna be very interesting, and everybody loves my mindset to things. So I guess let me let that more.
Well, there you go. Thank you one more time, Warren, for coming and hanging out. I'll let you go now. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon. And yeah, let me know when you want me to come on, and I'll come on and hang out with the crew and everybody out there.
Absolutely, man. Shoot me an email, and we'll get it all set up. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks, Tino.
Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I'll talk to you later. Bye. I want to say one more time, thank you to Warren for coming and hanging out here on Tino's Time Wrestling, covering NXT Heatwave, talking about everything that went on, everything that's been going on in WWE. We talked about a couple personal things. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that. Hopefully everybody enjoyed us opening up a little bit, telling us more about the personal stuff. Thank you, Warren. I know that was probably not that easiest thing to do, so thank you. I appreciate you doing that. Thank you to everybody that came here and hung out, left the comments, the questions. SCW Off the Top Ropes podcast. Brian, thank you, Brian, for coming and hanging out. I saw your comment, but I didn't see it on there. Trying to go through them all. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody that did come here and hang out on this NXT Heatwave preview show, question and air, everything like that. I know it went a little bit longer than I wanted, but we had a good old time here. So everybody, make sure to check this episode. Like, subscribe, follow, do all the good things. You guys know what to do. Make sure to go follow Tino's Time on Instagram, Tino's Time Wrestling on Instagram and Facebook, Tino's Time 1996 on Twitter and TikTok. Go check out Tino's Time, Tino's new TikTok. What championship is he coming for? I'll give you a hint. He's coming for you, Roman. Tino versus the head of the table. Book it. So, everybody, thank you again for coming and hanging out here tonight for this NXT Heatwave preview show. I'll be live at 7 o'clock for SmackDown on Fox. So come and hang out with your boy Tino, and let's watch SmackDown. Let's see if Shinsuke Nakamura can win the Intercontinental Championship. Who's going to move on in the women's tag team division? Are we going to see the return of Hit Row tonight? I don't know. There's going to be a lot of things going on tonight, people. So one more time, thank you all for coming and hanging out here on this episode. Warren, thank you again. Buzzing with Marlowe podcast. Thank you for coming and hanging out here on this episode. And until 7 o'clock, everybody, we'll be back here on Tino's Time to watch SmackDown's 7 o'clock. So everybody, until then, this is your boy Tino signing out.